to another episode of CK Outdoors. Today I'm going to show you how to skin a beaver. Kind of got a small one here. My buddy found it in his freezer from like 2 years ago and he wants it skinned. So we're going to skin this beaver. First thing we're going to do, we're going to cut the feet off. You can walk over here. So first on the beaver, you're going to cut the feet off. So right there where that fur meets, you can feel where it bends. You're just going to take your knife, cut in like that. See how that opened up? Cut the back. Cut the feet off. We'll show you a back foot. So right there where the heel bends, you're going to cut right through there. You can see that joint opened. You're going to cut around. I use a little bit sturdier knife for this. So the back feet are a little stronger than the front feet. So once you get to this point, you twist it off just like that. Okay, you can stop it. Okay, so now we got all the legs cut off the beaver. What you're gonna do for beavers, I kind of combed them already, but I'll just comb them again. For beavers, you're just gonna cut a line right up its belly to its bottom lip. So you're just gonna get like your normal fillet knife, skinning knife, and you're just gonna I don't see a vent on this one actually. Oh, there it is, it's small because this is a baby beaver. So cut around the vent. Be careful of the stomach. Don't want to cut the stomach. Oh my goodness. We're gonna use a little sharper knife. With beaver was froze, so the belly still froze. So it's kind of a pain. But on these beavers, you can just kind of go up, a cut, go up, cut, go up, cut, and just go right up the center of the beaver. I know sometimes it's hard to tell, but this is gonna be the edge of your pelt, so you want this to be as straight as you can be. Which I know it doesn't look like I just cut it very straight there, but I promise you I did. And then just right up through the bottom lip. And now you got that beaver split up all the way down the middle. Yeah. Okay, so as you can see, I've kind of skinned that skin back. It's not to where we need it yet, but I'm just gonna I've skinned around the vent. But now here's where your castor glands are, but since this one's been in the freezer for 2 years, I don't think we're gonna harvest them. Now I'm skinning around the backside of the tail. The fat gets kind of hard there. And so you just kind of got to be careful. It's kind of hard to clean skin a beaver. But once we kind of get around there, then what we're gonna do, now that that's kind of skinned out, since this side's more open already, you want a beaver knife or just like a round edge knife to not cut, and then you're just gonna you can see where the skin and the membrane is. That's skin, that's membrane. You're just gonna kind of cut like right into that. And cut, if you can, cut more towards the beaver and not at the skin, or else you'll cut the skin. And you see how I'm leaving that membrane on? It's gonna save me a lot of time when I'm fleshing this beaver. And so you're just gonna kind of keep on skinning the whole beaver down like this. And once you kind of get it here to where the legs are starting, here's the leg. So you can cut through that actually. And then right there's the leg. It's like a drumstick. We'll show you how we're gonna do that once I get this other side skinned too. Okay, you can stop. Okay, so this is how we get the back legs off. As you can see, that's the leg. That's different from the stomach. I've skinned down here, which this kind of just naturally happens as you go down here. So now you can see, you get a little closer maybe. If you look into there, you can see I can almost put my finger, there's my finger moving right there. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take our knife, just stay along the bone, kind of. You see how my knife popped out right there? And we're just gonna kind of cut around there to where we can get our finger in there and pull that bone through. You can see that bone's through there now. Now what you're gonna do, you cut this skin off this back part of the leg, or yeah. So I'm gonna come to this side so you can see better. So this is one of the harder parts with beavers, especially because you usually just skin beavers laying down. But you get your finger in there, and this is where you gotta be careful. This is where you'll put a hole in the leg, which there's not really any money in the legs, but still, if you put a hole in your pelt, it's gonna be worth less. So just be careful, like don't do that. Also be careful if you're using sharp knives like me, you'll cut yourself. But I don't know if you guys can tell, but like that blue part right there, kind of, that's the skin and this is fat. So I'm gonna show you how to do a front leg real quick. Front legs are just a little smaller. So I haven't really skinned out the front leg the whole much. I can feel it right there. So what you're gonna do, you're just gonna cut down right there, and that's exposing the leg. And you're gonna do that more, and then you're gonna kind of skin there, kind of clean that meat up, kind of to where I almost, if I would have cut that, so I'm gonna come out here, do it a different way. I'm gonna poke my knife through and just kind of cut around. Now, I just poke that bone through again, you can see that bone. Now it's just kind of the same thing. You just kind of skin down right against the bone. I have my finger in here and I'm pulling that towards, and I'm using my knuckles right there to push that bone against so I have tension. So if you can see, like I'm pushing that bone out. And you're just gonna keep on skinning right down to where you can see the meat and the skin come out. Then once you get to there, I like to put my finger through like that and hold it like that and skin down like that, if that makes any sense. Then your legs are through. So right now I'm just trying to open that front leg open, and right here are the lips, the beaver lips on the bottom. So I'm just kind of, I'm not trying to leave too much. You'll cut them off when you board them. But then this cheek meat is right here, and that's kind of, I try to skin it out as good. I try to clean skin as good as I can to save some time while I'm fleshing. But I get sometimes it doesn't work. So then, but that's just how you do the bottom lips there. Excuse me. But yeah, just kind of that cheek meat, it fleshes off easy, so it doesn't matter, but just try to skin away from it. Skin towards the skull always. But yeah, we'll get this leg out, then we'll flip her over and show you how to do the rest. Okay, so now we're to the back of the beaver. This is probably what I think is the hardest part to skin on a beaver, just because you get all this hard fat. It almost feels like cartilage right here on the tail. Beavers store a lot of their fat in their tail, so it only makes sense that all the way down here to here is fat. So it's kind of tight right here, so you kind of just, all I did was skin around the tail. You got to trim it anyways when you board it. But now you're just gonna kind of pull that skin up as best as you can. I get it, it's hard. Right here is kind of where you get into some danger, where you might be, you don't really know where you're skinning because it's all the same and you're moving from the belly to the back. But with practice and trained eyes, you'll get there. When I first started doing it, I was terrible at it. But now I'd say I'm okay at it at least. Not as fast as some of the people, but we'll get this skinned and we'll show you kind of what it ends up looking like. So right there you can see that's skin that I almost cut. And this is just that hard fat I'm talking about, which is kind of a pain to flesh because it's gristly. But once you get to here, you can kind of pretty much tell where you're going. I left a lot of leg meat on there, so that's whatever. But once you get to there, I'm just gonna kind of, we can flesh that off. That's the point of fleshing. So we're gonna get this all skinned up and I'll show you how you do the back. Okay, so we've kind of got that tail. As you can see, they got the weird cartilage holding on the fur. You kind of just got to skin up that. It'll disappear once we get about center back. Just kind of keep skinning here. And we're getting to the point to where we can almost just pull the skin off. So right here, you get that all Good. You can see that now it's not holding on there anymore. And what you can do, put your hand on the head of the beaver and just pull. Now I'm gonna cut it a little bit more just because I don't have that much room on this table. But you can usually pull it pretty good. So I'm just gonna keep pulling on it while I cut. And honestly, what you can do, you got the 2 foot holes here. You can just put your fingers through there and just kind of pull it up at you. It is nice if you got a buddy on the camera end holding the tail. If not, I'd probably be yanking this beaver off of the table. So now we're kind of getting up here around the arms. So here's the arm, here's the head. So now once you get to the head, Debbie, you might want to come over here now. Okay, now that you're to the head, there's some meat on the head, but we're getting to the ears right here. So beaver's ears are kind of far back on their head. Now we're just gonna cut through. I left the ears pretty big, but you cut those off anyway, so it doesn't matter. But you can see there's the ear canal. We'll do the same on this one. So kind of just cut through that. We're gonna cut down, that's just beaver face. Here's the ear. Just cut through that ear cartilage. There's that ear canal. Now we're just gonna keep skinning down the face like this. Don't point your knife that way, point it at the skull. And then the eyes are a little lower on a beaver than most animals. Make sure you release that. Make sure you get all the way released down there. Okay, just keep pulling. So now we're getting about to the eyes. And so here's the eyes right here. I'm gonna use my other knife because it's frozen. So there you can see the eyeball. I got the whole eyelid as well. Then you kind of just skin under that. Just like that, and then you free up that eye. And then you have the whole eyelid. You're gonna do the same thing here. Just kind of skin along the skull. Oh, I did a bad job on this one. But it doesn't really matter, there's no money in the face of a beaver. It's just all about looks. I think that eye was smashed anyways. So once you get there, you're gonna skin down the skull. Now you're pretty much free. You just kind of gotta skin the lips off. There, I'm just gonna cut straight down, just like that. And then, oh, I cut a hole. What you gonna do? I'm going too fast for myself now. Just kind of skin down the skull like that. And then once you get to that point where the teeth meet the fur, you're gonna come down to the nose. And once you get to the nose, you just cut it straight off like that. And now, got your beaver nose, your eyes, your ears, and we're ready to flesh. Thank you for watching. That is how you skin a beaver. Like